Welcome back to What's Up Reward, the podcast. I encourage everyone to kindly hit that like, subscribe, and follow button to always be up on the current episodes and also to go back and hear some of your favorite ones from the past. My name is Wardy Ward, and I'm going to be your captain on this podcast today. But before we get started and introduce our guest, I just want to share just a little fact here. I like to do a lot of useless research. And one thing I found out today that Subway is going to be giving away subs for life. All you have to do is get a 12 by 12 inch. Do you have any family overseas, or what's your background or nationality? Let me ask that too.
My father's family came over from Germany in about 1900,
Mm,
and my mom's family has been here since pre-Revolutionary War days. So, my mom's family's English and Scottish, and my dad, they're all German.
okay, German. So, do you speak any foreign languages?
Um, well, I took German. I understand it. I don't. I can't always reply to it, but I understand it. I took Spanish, haha.
Como se llamas?
I can say a few words.
Mm-hmm,
I can
mm-hmm.
order the same boring stuff if I went to somewhere in the Spanish speaking country, but I would have something to eat anyway.
Okay, well, good, good. You got the bases covered. All right, now we got that out the way. I want to talk about your job a little bit. So again, retinal technician.
Yeah.
Okay, to make sure I got that right. How did you get in this field?
Um, when I got divorced, my ex-husband and I had a landscaping company, and so I had to give up my share of the company. So I had always done retail like through winters and when I was younger. So I started working for a retail, and then a friend of mine taught me into being a leasing agent, which I discovered was not me.
Mm,
It was a horrible. I hated it. So a friend of mine, she said, "Hey, my nephew, they're looking for people to work at the Cincinnati Art Institute. So
okay.
would you like to go along and see what it's like?" So I was like, sure, sure. I'll do a janitor at this point. Anything to get out of retail. I didn't care. And so I went and followed him for the day, and I said, I think I can do this. It was a crash course sort of. The doctor I shadowed gave an eye injection, and so I was
Ooh,
like,
wow.
"Ooh, wow." And so the doctor turned to me and he said, "Hey, if you can stand here and look at this, you'll be all right." So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna try for it."
When you said
So then,
the eye injection, you mean he like put a needle in somebody's eye?
yeah, they
Oh
prepare it
no.
and then they give them the
Mm-mm.
injection in their eye. So it
Oh.
usually there's usually bleeding or swelling, and so that's why they need to do it. It's really important, especially for diabetics.
Mm-hmm.
And so the big boss went on for the interview, and so I got hired, and they start schooling you right away. You don't just get to go in and poke around on people's eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
So there I started it, and the best class I took was the anatomy class. I got to dissect a cow's eye.
Oh wow.
I loved it.
Now, had you been to college or something before this, or what were the other requirements
um,
prior to getting this job?
no, I never went to college. My parents didn't prioritize college.
Okay.
So when I got to CEI, part of it is it's ongoing education. You have to learn, you have to take classes, you have to take certain tests, and it's always ongoing. They want you to continue your education while you're there.
Mm. You knew this going in that
So,
you're gonna have to go back to school?
well, you don't go to school. I mean, they self-educate,
Okay.
but you have to be educated enough to pass tests.
Okay.
There are tests that you have to take.
Oh wow. Are you okay with that? I hate taking tests. I just want to be done with this.
Well, I hate them, but I had to do it when I was a landscaper. I took tests, chemical tests, and I passed those. So I figured same mentality, you got to do what you got to do to keep your job.
Mm.
So I do it.
Okay.
Don't like it, but I do it.
Okay. What advice would you give someone who was considering this path that you took into to take the roles you're doing now? How would you advise them? Or what would you even say to them?
I think I would tell them to give it a shot, um, to read about it first, and if you really are interested to really uh, go and just go on an interview, watch how they do it. I think you would like it. Most people you have to really care about people. Most of my patients are elderly,
Mm.
and I just love my little old people. And they love me, and they know me, and they are excited when they see me, and they just deserve respect. I think that's one of the most important aspects of my job, is to show them I respect them and their dignity, because so many older people do not get that from their world. And I really want them to have it. And when they're with me, I want them to feel good, because I don't know what the doctor is going to tell them when they go in there. If they're going to lose their eyesight, if it's getting worse, something's wrong. So I want them to have a good experience with me before they have to go in there.
Oh, so was that part of your customer service training, the ongoing training they teach you to have that compassion?
Well, they tell you that, but I think I've always been that way. I've always been the type. I was always the protector. Somebody was like needed me to go and talk to somebody, like if they would be mean to them, I'm always the one like, Julie, come help me, go talk to them, And so I've always kind of been that way. It's just now I get to do it more concentrated.
Okay, I see. So you had mentioned that when you were married, you and your husband had a landscaping business as well. You did that
Yeah,
for over 20 years, you said?
yeah, 22 years.
What
Yeah.
what all did that entail with the landscaping? What did you do there?
Well, I am not a grass cutter. Um, I don't enjoy grass cutting, but I did all the landscaping, like planting flowers, mulching. I was what was called a finisher. So,
Hmm.
like once the mulch is laid, I finish all the edges and make sure that it looks really good. And I like to do hand finishing. I didn't like to use the tools, so that's what I did. That was my part. Was just the landscaping. My ex-husband actually was a certified bricklayer, so he would do like designs for uh, barbecue grills, walls, glass block walls, like in basement windows, all that kind of stuff. So he was like the designer and did the heavier labor.
Okay, let me go back to the beginning of that. So how did you guys say, hey, I want to start this business with landscaping? Did you guys have prior business experience?
Well, no, no, I wish. Ooh, it would have been so much better. But
Yeah.
no, my ex-husband, when we were dating, worked for a lawn company that
Okay.
just did fertilizing and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And he said he knew he could do better on his own.
Okay.
So after we were married for a while, he decided that's what we should do. So we started this company, and he already had customers ready and waiting. So that part was good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How did he get the customers so quick? Are you saying he took the customers from from your other job?
No, I am not.
Okay, okay. Because wow, it just
No.
so he just
They were just people that he had met like through life, like in his life experience with people he knew. And they told him, hey, if you ever start your own business, let us know and we will be your customer. So we started off with like a lot of residential people that he knew, like his boyhood neighbor.
uh-huh.
He had known since he was a little boy. He had a rental properties. So it just kind of word of mouth, and
Okay.
we just started building. But no, he didn't steal any green thumb
Okay.
customer.
Okay. So when you guys first started out, were you making money right away, or was this a process of ramping that up to getting comfortable?
Well, let's see. How do I describe it without sounding bitter?
Uh-oh.
Um,
Uh-oh.
I went through all the hard work with him, the slow build up, and now he's really doing well and successful with his new wife.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So, it's like okay, I was there for all the build up, but somebody else enjoys you know, the easy stuff.
So
But
him and her are running the business now.
yeah,
Because I think you alluded to earlier, you said that he bought you out.
not exactly.
Hmm.
I I agreed to let go of it.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
just easier,
You being a bigger person there.
more or less, and more or less because it would have been really bad. You know, people in the heat of anger say and do a lot of things. They regret things later, and they try to make it up later.
Yeah.
But and he's changed a lot, and he's done better by me as time went on. So
Oh.
I'm not really angry or bitter. I was just playing, but he's really made it up to me a lot of the stuff that happened during that time period. I
Yeah.
hold all the licenses because I passed all the tests.
So
So
you currently hold the licenses to his business in 2022.
the chemical licenses, yes.
So he needs you or needs us.
Yeah, if he wants to use if he wants to use chemicals, yes. I have like for like Duke Energy properties, like
Yeah.
inside substations, railroad tracks. just like lawn fertilizations to buy the chemicals. I hold all those licenses, and I hold a 30-hour OSHA. He has a 30-hour OSHA, but I hold the chemical licenses.
Is that a challenging test to get?
Oh, yeah. I never want to do it again. That's why I maintain it. Every 3 years, I go to school because it's too. I don't even know if I could pass the test again if I went.
Wow. So wow, that's good. So you can just charge him. I'm just fascinated by this. You could charge him if he wants to say, "Hey, I need to do this." Well, okay, yeah, give me whatever, and I'll come over and do whatever. That's kind of how it works. Or he has a
Well, I have it in escrow right now, my licenses, because he's not using chemicals right now. But
okay,
if he wants to use the chemicals, he has to use what I have, the licenses. It was part of our divorce, not so much the settlement, but the escaping easily.
mm, okay. Well, I was married before too, and I know marriages are always challenging, I guess, or they shouldn't be. But let me ask you a few questions about that. Do you think
Okay.
a do you think a couple can live together without ever arguing?
Oh, you're a funny man.
I always
Um,
ask that.
I think I guess it is possible. I've never had that, but I think it's the solving of the issue very quickly. I don't think you should let things go, too long. Maybe if you want to cool down for a couple hours and then, talk about it, that's one thing. But I don't think you should do a prolonged anger thing. I think you should solve it quickly. I don't think, I don't know. I'm coming from a family and, like growing up and then marriage. My parents argued, but they loved each other and they worked it out. And so that's the example I use too, is just if you're mad, okay, be mad, but then work it out and deal with it. I
Yeah,
think it's people who don't deal with it that have a bigger problem.
yeah, yeah. Those unresolved issues seem to come up over and over again because you
Right.
really didn't address it.
All
So
right.
let's just say we could build a time machine and we could go back to knowing what you know now. You have 10 minutes to talk to young Jules before you say I do. Knowing everything happened over the last 22 years, what would you tell yourself in those precious 10 minutes?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. We really, we it wasn't that our backgrounds were different. It wasn't that we were a biracial couple. It wasn't anything like that.
Mhm.
It was just we were not compatible as people.
In the
Not
beginning,
really.
you weren't compatible.
The things we had in common were really not enough to. I think we're happier now as friends. I mean, now we're really close friends. We really are. We are close friends, but we don't live together. We're
Okay.
so much happier as friends.
Yeah, I
I
hear.
would just say don't do it. For me, I don't say anybody else. For me, don't do it.
So when you did it, did you have any reservations? I was like, red flags, as they say now.
So you want to know the truth?
Yeah, give it to him. Let's go ahead. Let's just be truthful on it.
I was older than him, and it was for him it was always an issue. Like he would get mad if I would say anything about my age compared to his, and it was only 6 years, but to him it was a big deal.
Hmm.
And race was never a problem. Because we were a biracial couple, and it never ever came up as a problem, but our age did.
You said you were biracial.
Yes,
So, oh, he's African American or
yes,
Hispanic.
yes. He's
Okay,
African American. Yes.
okay. And he had an issue with your age.
Age, yeah, not our race. We never. In fact, that was one thing that was a uniting factor for us. We were always we embraced our differences. We
Oh,
really did. We embraced our differences. We come from totally different backgrounds, totally different lifestyles, and that was never an issue. But
mhm.
age was for some crazy reason.
6 years is not a lot.
I didn't think so, but he seemed more embarrassed that I was older than him, and he didn't want me to tell people that. It irritated him greatly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure nobody could really tell, or I don't want to judge him and be all hard on him, but okay, all right. Let me ask you this: do you think you were a good forgiver in a relationship? Because I think for me that was a challenge when I was first got married. Because I don't know about you, but it seemed like you come into a marriage, we have expectations or preconceived ideas of what we think it should look like.
Right.
So, were you a good forgiver?
I think I was very forgiving. I think I was the most of the two of us. I was the most forgiving. I would,
Okay.
let stuff pass. Probably I shouldn't have. Probably a lot of things I should have spoke up about and been stronger on, but
Mm-hmm.
it made things so rough that I finally was just like, okay, have it your way, enjoy. I
Yeah.
just didn't want to argue all the time. I
Yeah.
came from a family of arguers, and I just didn't want to do it.
Mm. So that was common your when you were a child to see other family members disagreeing and arguing like that.
Everything was an argument. Like you couldn't just have a conversation. Somehow it always turned into an argument, or you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
name calling, or oh, In fact, one of my close relatives, we always call each other fat boy, fat girl.
Okay.
It never went away. We're grown ups now, but we still call each other that. So that that was just our atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I
So
didn't know that. I mean, like I think forgiving is important though. You got to get over stuff.
yeah, I think it's easier said than done. I think we want to, but for me, I think for me to get over things, I have to talk it out. And the
Hmm.
best apology for me is a changed course, changed actions. And so if you really can't get out how I'm feeling and you get the gravity of what I'm saying and I get what you're saying, then we figure out how we're gonna do it next time. It tends to repeat itself over and over again because in my marriage, my wife would clam up. That was it. When she
Hmm.
clammed up, we wouldn't talk. We I call it arguing in silence for 3 weeks. No
Right.
conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like I think if you know that about you that you're not forgiving quickly, I do think discussion is important. Um, and I agree, you need to find solutions for that because silence is deadly.
Yeah.
Silence is deadly.
Yeah.
I agree that you cannot do it. It
Right.
solves nothing, and
Nothing
it
at all.
creates resentment, and resentment doesn't go away very quickly. It just
Right.
doesn't.
Yeah. I found that when I was arguing in silence, I would tend to replay things over in my mind from my perspective of what I thought happened. And each day that went
Right.
by, I didn't discuss it. It was cemented in there. Like, oh yeah, see, I knew it. I knew she put the extra salt in there because she know I don't like salt. Yeah, that's what it was. Just stupid stuff there.
But you know what? Some of that can just be differences of how you were raised and like the atmosphere that you came from.
Hmm.
Because sometimes it's not really against you, but you feel like it is, but truly it's not. It's just that that person has a totally different way of doing things. And
Yes.
I always say that it's like the toothpaste tube. Everybody argues over that. The lid off, lid on, squeeze in the middle, squeeze in the end. It's just because you come from different backgrounds, man. Buy the little squeezy thing that squeezes it up and you don't have to worry about it,
Problem solved. There
I
it
think
is.
you just find that simple solution and just stop sweating the stupid stuff. You know
Yeah.
what? I think that's another thing. When you sweat the stupid stuff,
Uh-huh.
it's so time consuming, man. You could be going on a picnic and enjoying each other's company
Yes.
instead of arguing over stupid stuff. I don't have time for stupid. If you're
Yeah.
stupid, don't talk to me. Call somebody else.
That's be on a t-shirt. Just read
Right.
it. Yeah.
Stop wasting my time with stupid.
Um, what did you learn about yourself those 22 years of marriage?
I think I learned I was too kind.
Two kind.
Um, I think I learned that I was settling for what I shouldn't have.
Ooh, settling.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think I settled for second best. I always put myself last, and I don't think I should have done that all the time
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because in the end, I had nothing.
Like, without getting too in your business, what do you think you during that marriage? What could you have done to not settle? Just maybe more vocal, or just put your
More
foot down?
vocal, more vocal, and not allowed myself to be second best. Like if I wanted to go to a restaurant and get chicken instead of a hot dog, I should have done that. I should not have been allowed myself to be made less because he wanted more.
Oh, so you sound like you were a pleaser, a people pleaser in a way. You would
Um,
just
I just wanted peace,
okay. I can respect
and I
that.
didn't want to fuss. I didn't, it's like it was just sometimes it was just too much. Like money was always an issue.
Financial?
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, money.
Did you guys talk about finances before you got married?
Yes and no. But bad decisions got made, and I took the blame for stuff I shouldn't have.
Oh, wow. So
So
you handle the
like it was your
finances?
fault. I wanted to, but he wouldn't let me. I think I would have done a lot better job.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of guests on this show, and I ask this question when it comes to finances: should couples have a joint bank account? What's your thoughts?
I have mixed feelings on it. If I do agree to a certain degree, you should. I think you should have a mixed pot, but I don't think it's a bad thing to have a savings account of your own.
Mm,
I just don't. I really believe you should mix your money to a majority,
mhm.
because the household needs to function properly. And you need to be happy as a couple. Like if you want to go on vacation, the money's there, great. But I also don't have a problem with if the husband or the wife wants to save a little cash on the side. In emergencies, I think they should share it. If you know you have it,
Mhm.
it'll solve problems perhaps, but I don't think it's wrong necessarily to save on the side.
Okay. I guess I can say I've always been under the mindset of having a joint one because I figure if you got your account, I got my account, and then rent's due and you don't have your half of the money. I'm saying, well, I guess we homeless, because you don't have your half. What are you gonna do? Can you borrow money from your spouse? I don't even know how that works, but just
Well, when I got divorced, I got left with $150 to my name.
hmm. Was that a
And I was,
50-50 split or he took more?
no, I got left with nothing.
So were you guys friends at the end of the relationship?
No.
Oh, so so that's why you would tell yourself that 10-minute conversation, just don't do it. You just appear, don't do it and walk away. Trust me.
Deuces. Deuces.
Just trust me and leave. Like, what was that about?
It took time, I'm not gonna lie. It took time to be at peace like we are now. But we've been divorced for 11 years.
Okay.
So like enough time has passed that there's no more hard feelings. We've worked through the anger, just all that's gone. But
Okay.
at the very divorce time, we did it peacefully. We divorced peacefully, but we were not friends.
When you went through that divorce, did you feel kind of ostracized in the public, or did you feel ashamed at all? Or
I was not ashamed because I knew I had done nothing wrong.
okay.
And it was not me. I didn't commit adultery. I didn't do any of that stuff. Even though the things were bad, I did not go outside my marriage. I was still there. I was still trying, still
Mm-hmm.
working myself to death. He
Yeah.
chose a different route. So I knew I didn't do anything wrong. So
So
people misunderstand things. Huh?
technically, if things hadn't have changed, or hadn't whatever fell off the track, y'all would have 33 years in right now.
Yeah. If when his mom died, he just kind of fell apart as well. And
Mm,
you know, maybe things would have been different. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to look back and know exactly where to put your finger exactly because it was like a few multiple issues.
yes. Yeah, I understand.
So it's hard to say, oh, it was this. If this would have not happened, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know it ended badly, and he's happier now, and I'm happier now.
Do you think that we're a little like our parents? We kind of, whether we want to admit it or not, I'm kind of like how my mom and dad was, and he's kind of like how his mom and dad was, and with a new twist to it.
I don't think my ex is like his parents at all. He views life very differently, especially relationships, than his parents. They
Mm.
had 10 kids.
Oh wow.
So they did a lot to stay together for the children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll do it.
My parents, my parents, wow. That's a good question. I have to analyze.
Okay.
They loved
Well,
each other. They really did, but there was a lot of rough moments. I used to tell mom I'd live with grandma if they ever got divorced.
mm. Where was your ex-husband? Where was he born at? Where was he from?
He's from here.
Born and raised in Ohio too.
Yeah, Cincinnati. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. And what about his parents? Were they from the same area as well?
No, we went to actually rival high schools,
Oh, okay.
but
So
yeah. So I mean, we're Cincinnati kids,
okay.
definitely.
Were were there any challenges to being in an interracial marriage? I know 22 years ago things were getting better. It wasn't like it was in the 70s, but did you guys have any challenges as far as
I
from
think
outside?
I think people are closet racist,
Mm,
and so as long as they didn't touch me, I really didn't care. They can
yeah.
stare till the cows come home. They can say whatever they want to. We only had a few real incidents where people were super nasty,
Mm,
but we both were the type that was like, just don't touch me. Do what you
right.
want, but don't touch me. Like
Yeah.
I know one time we went to a restaurant and it was like they fill your container and you leave. It was not like a restaurant. And the
Okay.
lady was African American that was stitching up, and she felt like I was trying to be black, but my family's all from the South, so
Yeah.
we eat soul food. To me is Southern cooking. I don't really know the difference because my family cooked the same way. So Derek and I never had a problem food wise, but
Yeah.
she felt I was trying to be black, and she was throwing my food around, and she was literally throwing my food. And I
Yeah.
just looked at her, but Derek, he really got upset, and he yelled at her. But I just wanted to get out of there at that point. But
Yeah. I can't
but
believe
yes,
she
I mean there
I don't
wasn't
see
really
what.
a lot of incidents, but we were the type who didn't care.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
But I don't understand why other people care about somebody else who they don't even know. I just never understood that because I don't understand race. I guess I do understand that. I mean, we know the root cause of why racism is there
right,
from a spiritual aspect,
right.
but when in people's mind, I wonder what do they think? I think nobody can really. Well, I don't know. I don't think you wake up in the morning and say, "I'm going to go out and find an interracial couple and just wreak havoc on their life." I don't think you really plan on that. But what in that moment makes you feel like I could really get into his or her business? I just don't get it. So I
And I
commend you.
think, well, I think some people wish they could do it, or they would like to do it, or they'd like to feel as comfortable as you do, but they don't, and they don't understand how you do. And I
Mm,
think that's part of the issue is they want to be like that, but they can't. Something holds them back, and I think they just project what they've grown up with.
yeah, yeah. I think the
I went to a
climate.
predominantly black high school. Um, my ex did too, and so it was not a life changing event to marry a black man. It just wasn't.
Yeah. And did you find when you were in school that the the younger people or people your age really didn't have an issue with it? Is that
No,
what you
because
find?
we were teens in the 70s,
Right.
and our parents, most of the parents were hippies and the age of love and freedom, and you
Yeah.
know so there was some kids who had an issue. There were. I won't lie. There was some who, yeah, they showed out. But
Uh-huh.
the majority, we just didn't really care, man. There was too much going on, and
Yeah.
weed was free.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I see it. Saw it too. It's like most young people really don't care. I think it's unfortunately the older generation has been through some things and they try to uh, pass that on to their offspring, whether they knowingly do it or inadvertently. But unfortunately, it's a reality.
I think it's coming back a little bit though.
Oh yeah, you can see that. I mean, right now the whole world's falling apart, man. It's just crazy. Um, Let me ask you this: what would you think your ex husband liked most about you?
Um, you know what? He told me this. He
Oh,
liked the fact that I'm outgoing and I
hmm.
have a sense of humor. And I made him feel like he didn't have to carry the ball of conversation. Like if he was stuck or he felt him shy or something, he knew I was gonna dig him out or, make him feel like it's okay.
Uh huh.
Cool. You can't
Yeah.
think anything? That's all right. Let's talk about this. What do you think? And so he always knew I was there and I had his back. So
So
he
you
said
guys
that was always his favorite thing.
balance.
Right.
That's
Because
good.
I'm outgoing and I like to talk to people. He is not. He's one of those people that they'll just stand there and never say a word.
Mm, yeah.
And I'm not. I like to talk to people, meet people, let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
So you never met a stranger.
No. And it's funny. People talk like I can get on a bus, not speak to anybody, and suddenly somebody's sitting with me and telling me their life story. And I'm like,
How did we get here?
okay,
Yeah.
what else do you think?
What did
So
you
I'm just one of those people.
What did you like most about him?
The fact that he was so caring about people, even though he was quiet and shy, he really cared about people. Like one time, this elderly friend, she was trying to get in her wheelchair and trying to manipulate, and she couldn't do it. And all these people were standing around her. He saw it from a distance, and he was right there helping her and taking care of her. Nobody had to ask him to do that. He was
Okay.
very compassionate. Anybody needed help, he was right there. And
Good.
even if they called in the middle of the night and they were in the hospital and he had to get up and go, we got up and went. And that made me fall in love with him every time. Every time it
Yeah.
happened, I watched him do that. It just made me love him more.
That's
I
nice.
like it.
That's nice. I can tell you guys are friends now. You got in a better place.
Yeah,
I was once told that any relationship can be saved, can be worked out. Do you agree with that?
I do. But
Yeah.
it has to be willing on both sides. If it's
Yeah.
only one side, forget it.
Yeah.
But Derek and I, we went through so much loss of our parents, loss of
Oh wow.
grandparents, um, loss of siblings. I mean, our marriage went through a lot of things. And in the end, there's a security of knowing that this person has gone through what you have, and if you need them, you can turn to them. Even when
Hmm.
we were in the middle of our divorce, he was so stressed, he thought he was having a heart attack.
Oh
All
no.
the people he called me. Would you go to the hospital with me? I'm like, okay. So we went. I went to the hospital with him. We sat through all the tests and because he knew he felt secure enough that he knew I was going to be there. And we're
Wow.
still like that. When his brother died, he called me and he was like, "Oh my gosh, my brother just died," and so it's good. That's what I mean. We're happier as friends than we were married.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I told my ex-wife. I said we'll be better friends than we were marriage mates. I knew that. I think for me it was because I um I didn't feel like I was responsible for her anymore. So I was like,
Right. I understand that.
uh,
Yeah, you got a problem? Go home to your wife.
right, right, yeah.
Bye.
See you later. Like, oh, that's too bad. All right, gotta go. But do you think men are difficult? I know because in women are thought to be the in subjection of men. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean just he's a man,
Right.
and then I respect his position. And I'm a woman. That's a wonderful role to be in to respect that. But do you think men are difficult, stubborn, I guess, or too much power, I guess?
I think in the beginning of our marriage, he did. He felt like he had to, my way or no way. This should be the certain way. And he had to learn to loosen up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I like to fold the towels a certain way doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's different from you. But those are things I think every couple has to learn, and you need to find what's balance, what the kind of balance is good for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so I really think if you respect each other, I think that's key, man. You have to respect each other and respect that you do things differently. It's not
Mm-hmm.
wrong. It's not better or worse. It's just different.
It's different,
And
yeah.
once you accept that, yeah, once you accept that, I think you're much happier instead of always having to have it your way. Or I think it's just easier to respect it.
Did you guys ever really argue about folding the towels?
Well, let me tell you a little story.
Go ahead.
when when we were newlyweds, I was really anal in those days.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was at work, I went into his drawers and I folded all the clothes a certain way and colorized them.
Oh wow, I like that.
And he came home and had a cow. He was like, I don't like it that way. Don't do that anymore. Just put it in the drawer. I was like, oh, okay. The
Yeah.
towels were all folded a certain way in the closet. And then one day he did laundry and he got mad because I went in and refolded everything and put it away. And he was like, why did you do that? I did a favor for you and I did it. And I was like, I know, I appreciate it, but I really like him like this.
Yeah. Why do you think he got so upset about that?
I don't know. I guess he thought I was saying he did it wrong, but I wasn't. It's just that was so for me. I had to learn to be less anal. I
Yeah.
had to let him. Okay, he likes it a little messier. Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah. Yeah. I think when I was growing up, my parents, my dad, he wasn't as nice as my mother was. So I had to either learn to go fix cars in the garage or how to cook. So I tell everybody I can cook a mean chocolate cake now because I made a decision. So when I got
right,
married, I asked you about the folding towels because I had that same argument. I like to fold the towels in a certain place, nice square, because they fit neat in there like
right.
that. It just, I like every, like you said, you'd have to learn to compromise. Everybody don't think the same. I didn't even think about that before I got married. I was just like, okay, cool. Everybody washes clothes and put them away. Nobody
Wait
sits
a
and
minute,
lets
I know
stuff.
how to fold corner sheets, fitted
Yeah,
sheets. I know how to fold those.
yeah, all that stuff. I just assumed that that's how it is. And then when you get married, it's like, yeah, because I've seen couples have some arguments over who didn't put the cap back on the toothpaste. It
Right,
seems like bigger things we can do better. Like if the death of a child, you can deal with that a lot better, but you get a divorce because he ate the last cereal, then replace it. I'm like, are you serious? You have
right.
these arguments? So, yes, I think it's just, I don't know, maybe the person's just not new anymore, or I don't know. I guess it's time. I had
Yeah, I
asked you
agree.
earlier about should a couple not argue? That's my new philosophy. I don't think couples have to argue. I really don't anymore. And I say that because if you can communicate with them, or
Right,
because we get along with people at work, we might get rubbed the wrong way sometimes, but for the most part, we control ourselves.
right.
So why can't we do it with somebody who will be there for us if, like you said, if I gotta go to the hospital, if
Right.
someone died, yeah, what's the difference? So
Right.
I just don't think you have to argue on that.
Because my I dated somebody for a while and we never argued. We just
Mm,
never argued.
not
um
worth
we
it.
just we just never did, and it felt good. It felt
Yeah,
real good.
yeah. Did you find yourself comparing your new boo with your ex?
No,
Okay.
'cause they were so very different people, very different, night and day different. So I
What?
didn't, and that relationship actually, when it ended, hurt me more than my marriage did.
Wow. Oh wow. Probably because you were more open and honest with the second guy, weren't you? You probably because you know what you wanted, what you
Yeah,
didn't want.
right, right. And I had a miscarriage when I was married,
Oh,
and
sorry to hear
there was
that.
a lot of I hid it from him for years. He didn't know I had a miscarriage for years,
Hmm.
and I probably shouldn't have, hid it. But like there was more secrets in my marriage than in my relationship the second
Oh,
time.
okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry to hear that. So you guys don't have any kids from the first
No,
marriage? Okay. Okay.
no.
Yeah.
And now that we're divorced, it's just as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just never tried after the miscarriage.
Okay. Let me ask you this. If you could get one answer from your past relationship, you could ask your ex anything. What question would you ask him that he had to answer honestly to you about?
Why did we keep secrets?
Mm, yeah.
What was in our past, or what was in our thinking that we kept secrets? I hate secrets. I
Yeah.
hate them.
Yeah. Did does he know that you know that about their secrets now? Or is that part out and open that it's a
Oh yeah,
fact that
do you know divorce was like the most cleansing experience ever? I mean,
hmm,
we just brought everything out, laid it on the table. No, we didn't just lay it on the table. We threw it on the
like cards on spade? Pow.
right, like chumped you, man. Yeah, we. It was really a cleansing experience because everything was out open and laid out on the table. And I told him, I said, if you would have just told me half this crap years ago, maybe we wouldn't be where we are now. But,
Absolutely.
but we did. I mean, we did, and it was stupid. I would never do that again. I would never keep secrets again. Never.
Yeah. That's what Babyface
Many
said.
times.
Never keeping secrets. Do you remember when you guys first separated? Was that like a lonely feeling, but for to be like alone in the your place?
I was an only child, so I can't really say I felt that type of loneliness. I felt more a deep sadness, um, because it felt like I'd been living a lie for years. It really did. It felt like it was a lie.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's, so that's that sense of relief. I can definitely see that. All right. Well, Jules, we're going to move on to our final section of the show. I appreciate
Okay.
your honesty and sharing that information. I know it's not easy to talk about things like that, so I just want to let you know I really value you taking that time to share that with us because I'm sure somebody else out there has been through similar things and probably wish they would have handled it like that or thinking, hey, you know what? I felt that way too. So that's nice.
Yeah.
We're going to do a section now called Getting to Know You or If You Only Knew. I'll just ask you a few rapid fire questions. Just tell me what's the first thing come to mind.
Okay.
What's something that you've always wanted to do but have not done yet, or like a bucket list?
That's a good one. I guess have a baby.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I had two kids. Never wanted kids. I had two. Nobody ever looks at you and say, you got kids? They all look around. Yeah, I'm glad I've had kids. Yeah. So many things. Anyway, love my kids. That's what I say all the time. Um, how do you relax or unwind?
I binge watch British mystery.
Ooh, on Netflix or something?
Oh yeah, Luther's my favorite. I think I've watched it like 3 times now.
Last thing I've been watched was what's that show called? The Umbrella Academy or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if you saw that one.
I love Idris Elba as Luther, so that's what I do.
Oh, he's in it. I gotta check it out. I didn't know he was in that. I'll check that
Oh,
out.
Luther is like it's so suspenseful. Oh my gosh,
I'm gonna check that
I
out tonight.
oh yeah, third time I've watched. I'm in the middle of it right now from last weekend.
Okay. Is there anyone that you feel has been especially supportive to you over the years?
Um,
Would that be your ex? Or
Actually, I was gonna say that
okay, that's fair.
my ex really has helped me get through some rough times the last few years. He
Yeah,
really has. I have to say, we've been through a great friendship now, and
yeah,
yeah, he supported me through a lot of stuff.
yeah.
And my boyfriend that I was dating, yeah, him too. He was really supportive in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
He still is too. If I needed help, he would help me.
Okay. What has taken you a long time to figure out about life?
How to have love and keep it,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's the truth.
it's definitely a workout, mental gymnastics, as they call it. It can be that sometimes. They say every 7 years people change. So,
Oh Lord, I'm due.
uh, what's the cheapest gas price you remember?
59 cents a gallon.
59? Okay. All right. Yeah, I think I remember 79. Boy, if we can go back to those days, who knew? But
Yeah, me too, man.
yeah, but the cars were different then too. The cars were bigger back in the days.
Boats. They were boats.
Yeah, yeah. What's the best advice you've ever given or received? Either one.
Actually, it was a friend about changing situations. Actually, he said it's like when you replant one pot to another,
Mm-hmm.
the dirt sticks to the roots no matter how much you try to get it off. So when you move from one situation to another, you're going to carry your past with you, whether you want to or not, some pieces of it. So when you replant, you have to remember that you have to deal with the old situation with the new because you're going to have the same feelings, just a new environment. So be
Ooh,
careful how you deal with the new environment. That's the best advice I ever got from anybody.
I like that. That's I've never heard that before, but that has value. I really like that. I mean, I'm really thinking about that. I see that you can't get it off. Some things, yeah, that's a good point. I have to write that one down. If you could have dinner with three people, no matter who it was, past, present, what three people would you choose?
Oh wow. I would say probably Jeremiah from the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I really want to talk to Malcolm X.
Oh, oh, he's one of my favorites. I would. He
I really
he's
want to. I really want to because he had such a change in the end of his life on some of his thinking and philosophy. So I would just kind of be curious. And then to have him and Abe Lincoln together, oh man, that would be the bomb.
that would be interesting. I don't think I'd be in that room, but yeah. Why Abe Lincoln? He's somebody I studied a lot. I know a lot about him. I'm curious what made you pick him.
Who, Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah.
He lived in such a transitory time, and he didn't really believe in freedom of slavery at first.
Right.
Um, but his philosophy did change a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and he not much, but it
Right.
did to a degree. But then the weight of the world, so to speak, was on his shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and so he aged. I think about the pictures where he was so young when he was first president, but by the time he was assassinated, he looked like a really old man. So I
Yeah.
just would be curious, like the thinking process and what all really happened in his life. To me,
Yeah.
that would be interesting.
Yeah. A lot of those presidents age really bad when they go in and out of that office. Well, one of them didn't. The last one, I don't think he did, but the rest of them really did. That's
Well, he was such a narcissist. Come on, they don't age.
right.
Before that surgery.
Right. Yeah. Well, what's something in your lifetime that changed that you didn't even imagine years ago that would ever evolve? Uh,
I think my phone.
oh yeah, definitely
I
that.
remember I got grounded one time because there was a bad car accident and I got stuck in traffic and there was no payphones around to call home.
Mm-hmm.
I got grounded even though I told my mom it was on the news this accident, but my mom she didn't believe me. She was like, "Oh, you're just late and you just don't want to admit it, man." If
Yeah.
I had a phone,
See that? See? I tell you.
never would have dreamed I'd depend on the cell phone for everything under the sun. It's my calendar, it's my everything.
Yeah,
My
I remember.
pictures are all in
Yep,
there.
everything on the phone. I
My
remember back
life
in
is right there.
the when I was a kid, we used to have the phone, and you were doing something good if you had that 100-foot cord where you can like walk to the front porch, and oh, you was the man then. So yeah, it's like kids just don't even
You could
understand.
drag it room to room.
Yeah, double dutch with it. You could do it. It was options there. I think for me, one of the biggest inventions was the computer. When I went to school, I graduated high school in '87, and when I went down to IU Bloomington, my parents sent me with this big word processor. I was like, oh my god, looking back at that thing, and I was like, then the internet now comes along, and everything changes. It's just, I just like, wow, my life could have been so different. But I digress. I move on. Two more questions. The second one to the last. Cold winters or hot summers?
I love the winter time. You can add clothes. Summer you get arrested for stripping off. So I am a winter girl.
I definitely would take the summer. I love hot weather. I like being
Ugh.
outside. It's things to do. You can go play basketball. Winter. Mm-mm. I was born in Chicago. You guys get snow in Ohio. A lot of snow, don't you?
Sometimes. But here's the thing: romance is wintry, man. You got the fire going, and they got the booze. Oh, come on! You can't tell me that doesn't
Uh,
appeal.
no, anything with cold, I'm good on. It's
Ah,
just you gotta.
it's not cold. It's not cold that way. Where have you been, dude?
Well, I'm still saying I'm still associating with winter because you got to go buy stuff. You got to get this. No, I hate it. Oh, if
No, man. I do not like summer, sweating all over the place and
oh man,
breathing. Oh no.
wow. Did you and your ex have a problem with the condition of the house of the temperature? Did he like
You
it
know
hot?
what? I hate to say this, but you sound just like him. He was a July baby, loved working outside,
Yeah,
sweating.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's
He
like
was
if there's there,
summer. When we were first married, I used to open the window in the winter a little bit,
oh, he
and he
hated
would
it.
say, "There's snow coming in the window. Close it." He
Right.
hated it.
Yep.
I loved it.
That's how my wife was.
He
She'd always
sounds
have
just
it.
like me.
She would keep it so cold in the house. I had to keep a shovel with me everywhere I went in the house just to get the stuff. I was like, this ain't working. All right, final question. If you had to have a celebrity crush, and I think I know who it is, who would you say?
Say it again. I didn't hear it.
If you had a celebrity crush, who would it be?
Oh, yeah. Uh,
Not the celebrities are great. I'm just saying.
I I don't know of any really. I'm not a
Gary
girl like,
Coleman,
huh?
Gary Coleman,
Ew, no.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Oh, gross. Oh, gross. Okay.
Trump.
Idris Elba. I like
Okay.
him.
Okay.
And what's his name? Uh, when he was young. Oh,
Uh,
when he was young. Oh, or Yul Brynner when he was young.
okay. The bald headed guy.
Yeah,
He
but
seemed
not
cool.
now because they old and dead. But
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. Okay. John Wayne seemed like he was a cool dude. He was racist, but
ew,
he was cool.
no,
I liked the way
no,
he
he was.
carried
I
himself.
can't. I never liked John Wayne.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I know he was racist, but he was so cool and confident with himself. I mean, he come in with his little cigarette out and ching, ching, ching. This is what we're gonna do. I was like, oh, that dude is cool.
But see, Yul Brynner was in Westworld, and he scared the living daylights out of me in that movie.
The old one or the new one? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, the old, yeah. I remember that because the new one it was weird, but the old one I gotta see that, but I never saw it. So
Oh, even though it's hokey, that part of the movie, at the end, when he would not die, freaked me out.
wow, I'm gonna check that. So that's two things I gotta check out. Well, all right. Well, again, Jules, can you remind our listeners about what your profession is again,
Okay.
and give them one tip for marriage before we end here?
I'm a retina technician.
Mm-hmm.
Not afraid to get remarried,
Yep.
despite how it was. I'm open to it. How's
Okay.
that?
There you go. All right. And you know yourself now, what you want and what you won't put up with.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So if somebody fits your criteria out there listening and they try to find you and make sure that they like cold weather.
Right. Wait a minute. I'll deal. Wait a minute. If you're good to me and you're really nice and you're kind, okay, I'll deal with the summer, man. I'll deal with
Okay.
it.
Okay.
We can meet in the fall.
There you go. There you go. Let if any of our listeners want to find out, because you have a lot of funny stuff on your website, if you'll accept them as friends, not you have to, what's your social media footprint that they can find you?
Facebook. Definitely Facebook.
What,
That's
what,
the only thing I'm using right now.
what's the name?
You know, Julie Connigan Green.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Connigan with a K.
Got it with a K. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close this episode out by quoting the UCLA legend and coach John Wooden. And he said these two quotes. He said, failure is not fatal, but a failure to change might be. Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. So, on behalf of the What's Up Award podcast, we want to thank Jules for blessing us with her time today. And we want to remind everybody to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button so you can stay up on the latest episodes of What's Up in Ward. Until next time, peace.